From the House of Dunhill, we have 51.3N, best name ever. This fragrance right here has rhubarb as one of its notes. That's what sold me on this one. How good is it? Let's check out my first impression. What's going on, YouTube Fragrance family? Welcome to another first impression on my channel. Today on the House of Dunhill. Now, the House of Dunhill, in the past few years, we all know about the Icon series. That's pretty much all the fragrance community has been talking about, is this Icon series. Well, I like to go a little bit off the beaten path and see what else they have in store. This one called 51.3N. So that's coordinates from what I believe for London, England. Correct me if I'm wrong, but sweet name, interesting name. Of course, Dunhill is based in England, so makes sense. This is a 2009 release, so kind of an oldie now. I want to thank, first and foremost, my partner, FragranceX.com, for this scent. You can purchase this scent on FragranceX.com and pretty much anything Dunhill. Utilize my sweet code ROBES08 and get 15% off. And this is a cheapie. I purchased this. This was actually a subscriber's choice winner. I had, I think, over a dozen cheapies under $30 on FragranceX, and this is the one that won. And basically the way I introduced it was rhubarb in it. So I really wanted to see what I was going to get from this one. So let's get into it. I'm wearing this one today, so I'm living with it. It is on my arm here, but I want to do another spray on my hand here to give you guys my first impression on camera of 51.3N. So the opening of this fragrance doesn't disappoint as a cheapie. If this was retail, like $70 to $90 American, then we'd be talking something different. But as far as price goes, it's right there. It's really what a $30, $40 fragrance I would assume is. It really doesn't disappoint me. I'll get right to the rhubarb right away, because that's what sold me on this one. The rhubarb note in this fragrance is clear in the opening. It's one of the central notes in this fragrance, and that's the one thing that you're scared of when you're purchasing a fragrance just on a singular note. And I do this sometimes, you know, notes like mint, leather, really anything that really has my taste, something like rhubarb. When you're blind buying a fragrance based on that one note, you really want to smell that note, and this one does have it. It is paired immediately with some sweetness from the vanilla, and it has a standard grapefruit, kind of a cheap grapefruit. It's in, you know, a lot of fragrances in our men's game has grapefruit as their introduction. This has that cheap grapefruit scent in the opening. I'm not gonna lie. Does it hurt the overall feel of the fragrance, or does it bring down some points of the fragrance? Of course it does, a little bit. But I really feel like as far as the rhubarb note goes, it does very, very well in this fragrance. There is also a little bit of lavender that peeks through on here, and the lavender is okay. You know, there's some lavenders that smell like dryer sheets, things like that. I really don't like it. This is more about the grapefruit that's really not that great. But on the other hand, not bad of an introduction. Now more into the dry down. The dry down shows more of that lavender here. It is a strong secondary note in this fragrance from my first impression, with some of the vanilla. The sweetness is still there, and the rhubarb is still kicking, surprisingly. So this fragrance, as far as the cheapie goes, not too bad. I really think that this one, if you find it in a bargain bin and you're thinking about a rhubarb-based fragrance, not bad. So overall, it didn't disappoint on first sniff. It's an easy to wear office type scent that won't kill it for under $30. It's a solid release. That's all I can say. As far as price point goes, it's a solid release. If you miss this your whole journey, are you missing much? Not really. This is not a banger or anything. The rhubarb isn't great, but it's very solid, and it stayed longer than I would have thought in this fragrance. So a solid release considering the price from the House of Dunhill. Again, a solid cheapie. That's all I can say really until the review does come out and I have a little bit more wearings with it. 51.3N. There is a little bit of info on YouTube on this fragrance. I think a couple reviewers hit it. But other than that, it's been very quiet on this fragrance. So it's nice to kind of give out my 2 cents on a Dunhill fragrance that's not named Icon. So if you have smelled this fragrance, I'd love to hear the comments, good or bad. Let us know what you guys think. If you have any recommendations as a rhubarb-based fragrance, I own a few in my collection, but please comment below. Let us know what you think is a solid rhubarb-based fragrance. And as always, thank you for watching and supporting the channel. And now this goes into the queue to be reviewed. Have a good one.